today we are going to be talking about plastic surgery. So if you have watched any of our previous videos, we have a couple videos before this where we're talking about the cost of the plastic surgery, the day of the plastic surgery. But today we're really going to be talking about plastic surgery after weight loss. Some of the things I did that I'm really glad I did, and some things that I didn't do that I maybe wished I would have. And just some things that if you're considering plastic surgery, some things you should know, just so you know. Like, the worst thing when you're getting something done like plastic surgery is to find out later after you've already had it done. And so anyway, thank you so much for joining us. If you have not hit the subscribe button, hit the subscribe button. That way you don't miss any of our tips that we upload here on the channel. If you hear anything that you like on tonight's video, make sure to give it a thumbs up, ring the bell. That way you do get notified. We do upload 4 times a week here on the channel. So anyway, let's go ahead and jump right in, get down to it, all the nitty gritty on plastic surgery. So if you did not watch the previous video, one of the previous videos where we outlined the cost of plastic surgery and what I had done. So after losing 161 pounds, after having 2 of our 3 kids, I went in and had some plastic surgery done. After having those 2 kiddos, that's when I decided, like, I had always been overweight, like 288 pounds, morbidly obese, topping the scale, like I said, at 288 pounds, busting out of a size 22. And I had huge boobs then. I have always been bigger chested, and I knew from a very early age that eventually I was gonna get a boob job. I did not want my nipples to point to the ground forever, and gravity just does that when it comes to boobs. It just does it. And my husband, you know, he loved me at every size. He loved them at every size. And even once I lost 161 pounds, I still had double D boobs. They were just deflated. It's like I had no volume up here. My nipple pointed to the ground like I knew inevitably it would. And they were just kind of sad looking. I can remember my husband and I were having some special talking time one night. And, you know, I just happened to be sitting up, and I just looked down and I'm like, babe, I'm so sorry. I had just got done breastfeeding our second one, and he was like, babe, it's okay. What, like, it's not a big deal. And I was like, I know, but look at him. And he was so encouraging. But anyway, that's not what we're here to talk about tonight. Yeah. This is why I have notes. So when I get distracted, I can look back down and say, where the heck was I? And what am I supposed to be talking about? So anyway, where the heck was I? All right, cool beans. And so I knew that eventually I was going to have something. And again, then you times that by losing weight, losing 161 pounds, you know, and we've all seen the pictures of people with all this excess skin. And here's what I will tell you. There was not, for how much weight I lost, I didn't have that much extra skin. I had some extra skin in my stomach. I had some extra skin right here. I had some extra skin in my thighs. But one of the things that I did, and this was one of the things that I read and that my husband and I had talked about, I had saw a lot of people go in and get plastic surgery and they were still overweight. Like, they would lose a little bit of weight and then they would go in and get liposuction and a tummy tuck, and they would still be overweight or obese. And yeah, it would give them a flat tummy, but they were still overweight. And so one of the things that I said, because it's a lot of money, like in total, we spent $21,000 on plastic surgery for a boob job, a implant, a lift, a tummy tuck, and then I got a thigh lift as well. For all of those things, it was 2 different surgeries, and it was a total of $21,000. For the tummy tuck, the breast lift, and then the implants, it was $13,000, which was the one that I would do over and over and over again all day, every day on Sunday. And so, like, it's a lot of money. It's a big investment, right? And so I wanted to make sure that I got the best possible results that I could. And I knew that the key to that was going to be losing all the weight. Not just losing some of the weight, not just going from 288 pounds down to 180 and saying, okay, I'm not morbidly obese, I'm just overweight, now let's get a tummy tuck. No, it was like, okay, Carmen, if you're going to do this, if you're going to ask your husband to, be willing to invest this kind of money, you're going to go the entire way. Now, the thing I did have going on my side is my husband is a boob guy. And nice, big, perky boobs, I did not think was going to be hard to talk him into. And so anyway, so I had started off with this goal and it was like, all right, I'm going to get down to around this size. And when I get to my goal body weight, I'm going to maintain for 1 year. Again, why? Because most people go get a tummy tuck, they gain weight back, and then they have to go get another tummy tuck because they want the flat tummy, but they've gained weight. And so I was like, no, if we're going to invest this money, I want to make sure that I've lost all the weight and that I can maintain it. Otherwise, we're wasting money. If I go get a tummy tuck and then I gain all the weight back, why did I get the tummy tuck? So it was a reward for me, a reward for my husband, and it was a goal to make sure we weren't wasting the money, all right? And I always tell everybody, and here's why, I did not know this was going to happen. So when I got done losing the 161 pounds, I had quite a bit of loose skin left. And when I say quite a bit, it was more than what I had at the end of the year of maintaining it. It wasn't anything compared to some of the pictures we've all seen online where people can just pull out their skin and you're like, OMG. And part of that was the way I lost the weight. I lost the weight combining fitness with nutrition. And when you combine, I worked out 6 days a week from home in my basement. And so I could wear skinny jeans, really tight size 2 skinny jeans with a bodysuit. I didn't really feel confident then rocking a 2-piece. I rocked a tankini, just because of the excess skin on my stomach. But through that bathing suit, through a bodysuit and skinny jeans, you could not see any of my extra skin. It was only when I was naked in the bedroom, I was obviously aware of where my excess skin was and all of that. But here's what happened. And I also had excess skin in my butt. Like I can remember standing, and when you're losing weight, like skin, I think we're all worried about, are we gonna have excess skin? And we had a whole video that I'll link here where we talked about the evolution of loose skin. Because when you're losing weight, it does get worse before it gets better. It gets worse before it gets better. And it's not until you're done losing the weight that skin can start to rebound. It's not till you're done losing, because when you're losing weight, I lost 161 pounds in 13 months. I lost my first 100 pounds in 202 days. I was losing weight at a rate that my skin could not adapt. And so it wasn't until I got done losing the weight that my skin could start tightening up. And in that year that I maintained my weight loss, that I got down to a size 2, I remember, stepping on the scale and 127.5 pounds. I was like, no way. No freaking way. Like I got my phone out and I took a picture because I had never seen myself on the scale with 102 as the first 2 digits. It was kind of like this. It was like a really surreal moment. Yeah. And if you come from the morbidly obese life, you know exactly what I'm talking about. Anyway, even in high school, I can't ever remember being that size. So I maintained that for 1 year. And what I saw in that maintaining, the loose skin I had in my butt, like where your butt, like if this is your butt and it rounds, and then you know how your butt, so your butt rounds, here's your butt cheek, and then it rounds and it meets your thigh right here. Well, right here, there was just some extra skin that would just hang down below my butt. So you could see the butt muscle, and then there was some excess skin right here that would hang down below the butt. And I could just I could stand in the mirror and poke it. And I'd be like, come on, you little sucker. And then I would have the loose skin from the top, if this is your legs, from the top of my vajayjay area all the way down to my knee, it was almost rippled with loose skin. And same thing, I even had loose skin here in my face and my neck and all of that. But throughout that next year, what I saw happen, my butt skin tightened up. 80% of it went away. Most of this right here wait, unless I have like a super tight something on that's like pushing in, then I'll still have a little bit of that, right here. The skin in my face, the skin on my thighs. So I have loose skin from the top of my vajayjay area all the way down to my knee. And throughout that year, you could just see it month by month, like firming up all the way until I had about this, so I had about this much of a space of loose skin from my woman area down to my thigh. And it was kind of just like, it looked like fabric hanging. It was kind of like rippled a little bit right there on the very insides, but that was it. That was it. I can remember even my stomach had got to the point that unless I bent over, you couldn't really see a lot of loose skin. Like if I was just standing up, you couldn't really see a ton of loose skin on my stomach. There was some, of course. I mean, it doesn't look like it does now, but it wasn't as bad as I ever thought it was going to be. And that was all throughout maintaining, giving my skin a chance to bounce back. Eating healthy, drinking water, moisturizing, using exfoliating scrubs to help exfoliate the skin, which helps improve circulation. Keeping my skin hydrated from the inside out, which means drinking water, using lotion, all of those things. My skin bounced back tremendously. So first and foremost, if you are thinking about plastic surgery after weight loss, don't get the plastic surgery before you're done losing the weight. And second of frickin' all, don't go get it done as soon as you're done losing the weight, because your body's going to change. Your body's going to change. And if you're going to invest that kind of money, you want to get the very best results. And what I will tell you is I absolutely, without a shadow of a doubt, am so glad that I waited the year. One of the things I wished I would have done, I went in to surgery right at 130 pounds. And one of the things I wished I would have done, which was my goal. My goal was 130 pounds, and I had like a 2.5 pound window both ways. Like I would get down in like 128, 129, and then I would go up to 131, 132. That was like my window that I would fluctuate in, and all my clothes would fit perfectly. If I had to do it all again, one of the things I would have done is I would have lost an additional 5 pounds before surgery, because after surgery you swell, which we're going to talk about. The swelling, and you swell. And so that swelling stretches the skin back out. And so I would have gone in a tad bit underweight for my tummy tuck. If I could have redone it all and had a crystal ball that told me all of this, that's one of the things I would have done. People always ask, is there anything you would have done differently? I definitely would have done that. I definitely would have done that differently. All right, let me see here. All right, so yeah, so I have lose all your weight plus 5 to 10% more if you're getting a tummy tuck. If you're not getting a tummy tuck, whatever, your boobs are what they are, all right? So give yourself 6 to 12 months for your skin to bounce back. Here's the thing also with plastic surgeons. I was looking for people who had also lost weight and they had done tummy tucks and boob jobs on. Like I wanted to know that the surgeon that I was going to had done work on people who had lost weight and had a tummy tuck and a boob job. Why? Because it's different giving a boob job to somebody who wasn't 161 pounds heavier than it is somebody who was. Like once you have been morbidly obese, you have stretched your skin out. So the integrity of the skin is completely different. It's kind of like once you blow up a balloon. Once you blow up a balloon and then you deflate it, that balloon, like let's just say you blow up a balloon and you leave it like that, you let it stay all stretched out and then you deflate it. What does the balloon look like when you're done? If you feel the balloon, it looks completely different. It looks and feels completely different than when you first took it out of the package and it was all tight and, stretchy and all of that. And so when you've been overweight, your skin, the quality of your skin, the integrity of your skin changes. And so you want to make sure you have a surgeon who has worked on stuff like that and you like the results. And that's what I did. I saw somebody who had lost like 100 pounds and she had a tummy tuck, she had implants, she had a lift, and she let me see. She was like, look. And I got to see her scars. And when you, we talk about where we talk about the cost, when you get a boob job done, if you're just getting an implant, all they do is make a incision under your boob. That's it. But when you get a lift done, they actually cut around your nipple and they make a scar that goes from the bottom of the boob to the nipple. So they call it an anchor scar. So you have a circle and then you have a scar. So we have a circle around the nipple and then you have a line going from the bottom of the nipple and when you ask to see pictures, a lot of people will have pictures online. And a lot of times the skill of the surgeon will also show up in the scarring. Some of that's just genetics. Some of that's how healthy you are, how, what you do after surgery as well. But some of that also is the skill of the surgeon. And so I made sure that I saw pictures of things that I liked. All right. The second thing is, before I went into that surgeon, I knew what I wanted. I did not go into the surgeon's office with what he wanted. Like, he wasn't the one getting the silicone in his chest. I was the one getting the silicone. So it wasn't about what he wanted or what he thought. I wanted to go in there with a solid, sure, I wanted his feedback. And yes, I wanted his opinion, but I'm going to tell you why this is really important here in just a second. Like, when you go in there, you have to have a solid grasp on what you want. Because if you get talked into something that you really don't want, you're not going to be happy with it. And so I went in there. I've always been bigger chested. And in high school, I had double D boobs. As I got morbidly obese, they were freaking huge. I think I wore a 44 triple D. So that's a big boob. 44 triple D is what I think. 42 or 44 triple D. And is with the bra size that I wore, not pregnant, at 288 pounds. I wish I would have saved one of them. Like, I can remember, I could fit my husband's head in one of the cups of like, we would joke all the time and be like, babe, this was when I was 288 pounds. My boob is bigger than your head. And he was a boob guy. So he was like, I know. He would be so embarrassed that I'm talking about this. But when we went into the plastic surgeon's office, so I just wanted my boobs to be at a small, like, obviously I was smaller and my round was a 32. So my goal was a 32 triple D. Was what I told the surgeon. The smallest I want to be is a 32 double D. The largest I want to be is a 32 triple D. And I remember going in there, and the surgeon, most people that get boob implants, and I had no idea about this. He said most people lie about it. They don't tell people because they're embarrassed. They don't want the judgment from other people. And I get that. Like, there was a point in my past where I was afraid of that as well. At this point, I had owned it. I was like, if I'm getting a boob job and I'm paying all this money, I don't care who judges me and I don't care who knows. Like, any mom is gonna know. Any mom who's breastfed kids is gonna look at my boob and go, fake. Fake. Because we know what they look like after breastfeeding kids, and a big perky boob is not what it looks like. And so anyway, my surgeon was not used to putting that big of an implant in. And so when I told them what I wanted, and they measure it in cc's, so they look at your frame of your body. When you go in for a consult, you want to find a surgeon, right? Look at reviews, and then you want to book an appointment. And our surgeon was 3.5 hours away. So we drove in for the consult. The consult was $100. And the biggest thing you want to make sure with the consult fee is if you decide to book with them, will that consult fee come off of your total? Or is it just wasted money, you pay it? And our surgeon was. If we booked with them, the consult fee came off. And so when you go in, they let you feel the different, gels. They let you feel there's different profiles. So they have the wide profile, which basically means it comes out on your chest, but it doesn't protrude. Then they have the ultra profile, which is just going to be, it's a little bit less wide, but it comes out a little bit more. Then they have the ultra high. And basically it's how much you have up here and then how much you have on the sides. And a lot of times you'll hear people call the ultra high, they'll call it the porn star boob. That's the name that people will call it online if you're doing research on this. And again, I was like, I want what I want. If I'm paying for this, I've got to really tap into what I want, drown out all the noise of what other people think and what do me and my husband want. And I ended up going with the high profile because I still wanted it to be wide, but I wanted to have fill up here. Like, I wanted it to kind of round and not just slope. Like, I didn't want it to slope. I didn't want it to look like that's just not what I wanted. We all want what we want, and it's not what I wanted. So anyway, and I remember the doctor, they'll tell you based on how big your rib cage is, what size you are, how many cc's they can put you up to. And for me, he said, we can give you up to 650 cc's into your breast implant. And he said, and I'm confident that will get you to at least a double D, if not the triple D. I'm like, okay, perfect. We went ahead and we booked our appointment. When you book your appointment, it's pretty standard practice that they're going to need 10% up front. So we went ahead and paid like $1,378 or whatever it was. We paid that. And then the balance is due at your pre-op appointment, which is 2 to 3 weeks before surgery. You go in, you meet with the surgeon again, they kind of hammer everything out, you look at everything, they go through the plan, and then you pay the balance. Because they have to order your implants, they have to reserve the operating room, they have to book the anesthesiologist. There's a lot that they have to do ahead of time to get that done. And at the practice I went to, which was in Greenville, South Carolina, it was called Upstate Plastic Surgery, and my doctor was Dr. Keller. He was hilarious. Like, he would look at my implant and he would just start laughing. And he's like, oh my gosh, this freaking huge implant. And I was like, what are you talking about? And what I didn't know then is there are doctors that actually specialize in larger implants, and that very few of the population, a small percentage of the population actually gets a double D or a triple D or bigger. When you start going to the doctors that specialize in a larger implant, the double D and the triple D are like tiny, like teensy tiny. They're like, oh, you only want that? Like, because the ones that specialize in a larger implant are, they go much bigger than that. I didn't want a whole lot bigger than that just because, you know, I'm active and I didn't want them to impede my working out. I didn't want them to, you know, impede any of that stuff. But here's what I will tell you. When you're about to do this, the thing you cannot worry about, if you're going to go down this path, and for me, I had worked hard. I had lost 161 pounds. It wasn't, I had to really drown out the fear of man and what family members or friends or anybody else is going to think. At the end of the day, it was like, honey, what are you okay with and what am I okay with? What do we want? And as long as we were in agreement, I really had to not care what anybody else thought. Because if I went in and did this and I cared about everybody else's opinions, then I would have come out with what everybody else wanted and I wouldn't have felt satisfied. And wouldn't that suck to work so hard to lose the weight, to save the money, to get the surgery, and then not coming out 100% happy? And so, yeah. So I'm only telling you that to say, since I've been coaching and working with people, they're like, I want a boob job, but I'm afraid of what my friends will say, or I'm afraid of what my family will say, or my sister will say, or this person will say, or that person will say. Look, I'm not ever going to tell anybody to go do something to tick somebody off. But if somebody has a personal, strong opinion about your body, that is their deal, and they need to deal with that. That is not your problem. That's their problem. People have more opinions about your size of your boobs than they did when I was morbidly obese. And that's when someone should have been concerned, when I was like a walking risk for every single disease on the planet. Anyway, let me get here. So, actually, I'm going to wait. That's going to be in our next one. And then here's the thing. I made a list of questions, all right? And on that list of questions, like, I made sure every question I had, I asked. Like, okay, doc, like, and I had pictures. And I remember the surgeon, Dr. Keller, telling me, he's like, Carmen, the pictures, he's like, all these pictures you're showing me, they don't have a lift and they didn't lose 161 pounds. And so he was real with me about the expectations. He was like, okay, you know, like, your skin is going to be different than the picture of this girl you're showing me, because she's 20. She hasn't been overweight. She doesn't have excess skin. She didn't breastfeed. She hasn't done any of that. He's like, so we can't, though, that's like comparing apples to bananas, like, not the same thing. But he did give me, I said, so what can I expect? Like, what is this going to look like? How is this going to look? And then he was completely honest with me. He's like, you're going to have the scar. But here's what I will even tell you about the scar. And we're going to talk about this more when we talk about the healing in our healing video. If you did not know, and this is part of a series where we're talking about the cost, the weight loss, the plastic surgery after weight loss, what the day of surgery looked like, things, the recovery, surprising facts, and what I wished I would have known before the surgery. And so this is going to be an entire series, a playlist on plastic surgery, because this is a big question that a lot of people, especially that have lost weight, have no idea. And most of us are fearful of it, and we don't really have anybody that we can ask. So today, I'm your girlfriend. We're just sitting here chilling, and I'm just spilling it all on YouTube for you to know. All right. And yeah, that's the biggest thing when it comes to plastic surgery after weight loss. And then the only other thing that so in that one surgery was obviously the boob job. And I can remember coming out of surgery and the doctor said, and I don't even remember this, because when you wake up and if you watch our video where we talk about the day of surgery, you're going to hear how that day of surgery went. But I woke up and the first thing I did was I'm like laying back in the bed. I'm completely out of it. You start coming out of the anesthesia. I looked under and I was like, how do they look? How many cc's? And they were like, well, he only had to do 600, because evidently he got me to the triple D at 600 cc's. You didn't have to go up to the 650. And I was like, well, are they big enough? I just had this fear that I was going to pay all this money and I was going to end up with these B boobs that are perfectly fine for somebody, but wasn't what I was going in there requesting. And so anyway, let me know in the comments, what is your dream plastic surgery? Like, if you could go to the plastic surgeon and get one thing done, what would it be? And then are there any questions that you have? If there's enough questions, I don't mind doing a follow-up video at all, answering your questions. Yeah. So anyway, make sure to hit the subscribe button, ring the bell, give the video a thumbs up, and make sure to watch our other plastic surgery videos. Thank you so much for joining us tonight. We will see you on the next one.